Josh questionable, huh?
He is.
He look good today, Steve?
He looked okay, but it still doesn't take him out of the questionable category. And, we'll be able to share what's going on better later tonight before the game. Get him like a real good workout and give everybody information after that.
We've been talking so much about how you're confident in Rashawn, but how about Sean stepping up in what was Rashawn's role?
And isn't it fantastic, as we've seen over the years, opportunity uncovers different qualities in people. And I think that Sean Long has really grabbed his brief opportunities and been more than serviceable. Like he's shown reasons why he should be considered a genuine NBA player. And the other night, under the circumstance with all the sort of injury and sickness and back-to-back situation, he really gave us valuable minutes.
We're talking a lot about the defensive strides you guys have made, but what type of test is this tonight? I mean, they seem like they can break and they can get their post touches, so where do you start with them?
One place by a mile is transition defense, just simply getting back with arguably, one of the league's great breakaway guards. There is no guard that's been more dominant in my NBA days, 16 years of them, than the numbers that we're seeing Russell Westbrook put up. And so in the first 3 seconds, you have to be on high alert with him. And, you could shrink, to me, the game plan down to something as simple as that, is how good can we be in the first 3 seconds of a shot clock. And that's a team effort. It's bigs getting back. It's the point guard, with intelligent pickup points, 3-point line in. But it certainly is a team effort getting back in the first 3 seconds because of, a legitimate MVP candidate and one of the great breakaway guards, open court guards that I have seen in my 16 years in the league.
Brett, when you look at a guy like that, and I know you're big on development, but a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, he was a high draft pick, but he wasn't a finished product at all when
Right.
he came into the league. And that's the guy through development, through hard work, became the guy he is today.
And that's really a good example of, what you hope somebody can achieve in regards to their growth over the years. When you make that accurate comment, and it is an accurate comment, I go straight to the person because it doesn't take much guessing how competitive he is if you just read his facial expressions, his body language. He is beyond fearless. He is beyond competitive. And how can that not carry over into prideful work in the off season and prideful work pre-practice, during practice? He's clearly prideful, he's clearly competitive, and when you put in the work that I know he has, it equals development. And he is an excellent example of what somebody was and now what they are.
He has that throwback intensity where if you're not on his team, there's no friends. Does that remind you, we don't see that all the time in the league anymore, does that remind you of anybody from your days with the playoff runs with the Spurs?
The Spurs did it with more it was a polite way to do it. Like, he's not polite about it. KG wasn't polite about it. Kobe Bryant wasn't polite about it. And it still gets back to the respect you have for that, no matter how they present it, whether it's polite or not. And it's really hard to present that endearing quality that I'm in love with in a polite way. And so there was a different mindset, because you could say that, Ginobili and Duncan and those guys had that too, but not to the demonstrative way that Russell has it, or KG or Kobe. And I say that with complete admiration. And so tonight, you can just read facial expressions and body language, and you got somebody that's knocking out historic numbers and has just drug his team into, being in the playoffs after the departure of Kevin Durant. And They're tough here at home. I think the other thing that comes to my mind when you really study the team is there is a physicality, a playoff physicality with Cantor and Adams and now Taj Gibson and Oladipo is defense, and he's improved his perimeter game. Like, that is built to kill defensively. That is a bunch of men. And there's a physical side of tonight's game as the playoffs are getting closer that's going to be great for our young guys to feel, because we have learned, you've heard me say it always, like, fourth periods are different. And I thought we got mauled at Golden State and, need to learn from that. I thought defensively Orlando did a pretty good job in the fourth period, and we didn't, we were not able to, close out that game. It's just part of the evolution. Look at Minnesota last night. Young teams, like, you're going into fourth period leads, it doesn't matter. Like, how do you finish it? And I think that's just a quality, as Minnesota's experiencing too, of how do you close out games.
Brett, oh, I'm sorry. Everybody talks about Pop's coaching tree, and it gets a lot of, he's in the NBA. But when you think about it, Rick Pitino has a pretty solid coaching tree too. Like, you went up against a guy the last game. You have O'Brien on your staff, and then you're going up against another guy tonight. All you guys were, coached or they coached under him.
Yes. And I think it happens as you get older. Like, there aren't many general managers or head coaches in the league at this stage of my career that aren't either my friends or people that I've known, for a while. And, it's funny, Billy Donovan was in Coach Pitino used to send me to 5-star every summer to help try to grow me to be a college coach. Mm-hmm. So I played all 4 years for Rick Pitino, and I'd always go to Honesdale, Pennsylvania, or Robert Morris College to coach at Garfinkel's 5-star camp, mm-hmm. Very famous East Coast camp. And in one of my years in my bunk was Billy Donovan, Tommy Amica, mm-hmm. and two other players and me. So I've known Billy for a long time, back when he was a senior at Oyster Bay High School on Long Island. And, like you say, Coach O'Brien's now with me, and you can go on and point to a bunch of other connections. But tonight, as it relates to tonight and Billy, I've known him and coached him years and years and years ago when I was in college and he was in high school.
To what extent have you kept tabs on what Jeremy's been doing with them? I mean, do you communicate? I don't know if that's a common thing. Like, once you get in the season, do you communicate with him at all?
I do. I try to do it with all my guys. And we communicated yesterday with Jeremy. I'm going to catch up with him tonight. His slot is 5 o'clock, he tells me. And I'll catch up with him after that. His warm-up is 5, and I'll catch up with him after that. I think that it appears that his minutes has gone a little bit backward since the inclusion of McDermott, after the trades were made. I still see like he's become a 37% three-point shooter. That side of his game was an area that we really tried to zoom in on and help develop his shot. And, in the style of play that they play, he's playing a lot off of Russell's penetration, a little bit like the Houston players would say they do with James Harden. I think his minutes lately have gone backwards a little bit after the trade, but it looks like his path is improving, and I hope that he's happy in his new home. I believe he is.
You see him like being in this league for a while? Like,
for sure, okay. For sure. He lives right. He's prideful. He wants to be good. He's athletic enough to feel like there is potential there. He's a wonderful person and a great teammate. There's a cleanliness, there's a wholesomeness to Jeremy Grant, along with his pedigree, his family tree. I mean, look at where his background that makes him for sure, to me, an NBA long-time player.